Gentlemen, the target for today is a railway junction at Bagherova on the Crimean Peninsula. This will be further than we've ever gone from home base before, and deeper than we've ever gone into enemy territory before. Our fighter escort will meet us at waypoint 2, and we'll approach the target at 10,000 feet. After dropping our bombs, I'll turn the flight to the northeast over the Sea of Azov to minimize exposure to German ground positions, but I can't make any guarantees about encountering German fighters. We'll be taking off at 1800. Spłagam. Welcome aboard my A-20 once again for the 8th mission of this A-20 career. As I alluded to in the briefing, we've got a long way to go today. Ooh, formation's actually catching up. Because, yeah, like I said, I didn't mean to have this icon turned on, by the way, but I'll address that in a second. The target is way the hell over here, way behind German lines, and near a couple of their fighter bases as well, so I'm going to be expecting the world, or at least hoping that we get a decent performance out of our P-39 escorts. Now, despite the fact that I do have some leeway as the flight lead to adjust the route, and ideally I would have given us a route that kept us over the sea until we were close to the target, I figured if I moved waypoint 2, it might screw up our rendezvous with the escort fighters, so I'm just going to have to keep that the way it is, which means we're flying over German-held ground on the way into the target, which I'm not very optimistic about. I have a horrible feeling that this mission isn't going to go well, but we'll just have to see. With regards to this navigation icon, I had turned it on for some other thing I was doing in single player and forgot to turn it off again, but I think for long-time viewers of this series, I have demonstrated my navigational abilities, hopefully to everyone's satisfaction, and it may be assumed that I would have been able to find my way to the target on my own without the aid of it. Plus, strictly coming from the grounds of realism, I do think that it's not unreasonable to say that in, for example, a medium bomber, which has a dedicated navigator on board, that it's not necessarily unrealistic per se to have something like that turned on, provided you have a skilled You're assuming you have a skilled navigator who's able to give you an accurate fix as to your current position at any given time, as opposed to perhaps a not-so-skilled navigator who might be able to tell you, roughly speaking, where you were about 10 minutes ago, but such are the vagaries of these this sort of thing. Good heavens. Well, before my tongue ties itself in a knot, I think I will say toodaloo for now and come back when something interesting happens, possibly when we meet up with our fighter escort. Alright, I do believe those radio calls are our fighter escorts taking off. P-39's down there at... Actually, what airfield is that? Between these... Oh! Anyway. We flew over those on the way to our target last time. Anyway, that was waypoint 2, so now new heading 280. Hopefully those P-39s can climb up and catch up with us. And I was tempted to turn north and fly over the Sea of Azov rather than follow the route directly once they'd linked up with us, but I have a feeling we're going to be detected more or less immediately here, and it might be better to just make a beeline for the target, so I think that is, in fact, what I'm going to do. But yeah, I mean, that's the front line down there. You can see the smoke. And, yeah, so from here on, we're over enemy territory. And now, hopefully, our little friends can catch up. We'll be on our way. Alright, that's the Kerch Strait down there. Our current position is actually marked now. So once we cross it, our target is obviously on the other side, about 12 clicks inland. It should be fairly easy to see. It'll be a town with an airfield, and we'll be bombing just beyond where the railways come together, I guess. We'll have to see what that actually looks like through the bomb site, which I've already gone some way towards setting up. I've got a speed of 330 kilometers an hour inputted, despite the fact that we're showing 340 right now, because we'll probably drop about 10 when the bomb bay doors open. And I like to anticipate that, just to give myself an absolute minimum of work to do. Altitude is 3,200 meters, and for the wind, I've been going with the figure from 2,000 meters mostly, just because we're closer to 2,000 than 5,000, by something of a margin. And I've already got that inputted. Just double check it actually. If it's 0.85-ish, more like 0.82, 0.83, then that should be about close enough. So what am I looking at down here in the bay? We've got, I see a little body of water just inland. Okay, that's right there. We want to fly over the sort of southern bit of the built-up area that sticks out here, I guess, and start actually seriously looking for our own target. Oh yeah, there it is. Right there is the sticky outy bit. One has to wonder if the Germans are utilizing this industrial area and port facility down here to any degree. In that case, we might be back to bomb it, who knows. Also, for the bombs, I never mentioned what our bomb load was. We've got 4 250-kilogram bombs slung under the wings, and 8 100-kilogram bombs in the bomb bay. I'll be dropping them at a 0.25 second interval, which should saturate what I expect will be a reasonably small target area pretty nicely. But I may make last-minute adjustments to that once we actually have the target in sight. We will see. Alright, I see the road running west here and the airfield north of it. What are we looking at there? That's the Kerch 2 airfield, which we want to pass a bit to the south of, about 8 clicks east of Bagherovo. Alright. And so the actual town should be coming into view here. I do hope it's not obscured by this cloud cover, which is at about 4,200 feet according to the briefing. Hopefully not. That would cause us some trouble, especially since we don't have an automatic bombing mode in the A-20 like we do on the German bomb sites. Although that being said, the in-game implementation of both sides' bomb sites is a bit generic in that they both basically look like this, and the only difference really is that the Germans have an automatic mode. The original IL-2, as well as Cliffs of Dover, modeled the German Luft 3 and Luft 7 bomb sites a good deal more accurately. Apparently. I mean, the German one uses the actual German site markings, for one, which is interesting. I'm not actually sure what site the A-20 should have, whether they got Nordens or not. Because this aircraft, based on its paint scheme, is possibly lend-leased from Britain rather than the US, although it obviously came from the US initially. Anyway, target is pretty much in sight, and it would seem to be that sort of beiged out, industrially looking Railyard area down there. If I'd been thinking, I could just about have set us up to run straight from east to west down the length of it, but no matter. We've got a decent formation here that should be able to saturate the target, and I am going to give them the command to do what I do, so they should drop bombs on my command, and they should get the whole thing to drop on my command anyway. I'm going to get the bomb bay door open, and we'll double check the airspeed once that's the case, see if it drops to below 330 or anything. Okay, I'm going to aim for this area over here. Right in the middle of the town. Lots of houses nearby. That's not good. Actually going to be closer to 320 when we go to drop, I think. Alright. There we go. Hold formation and drop on my command. Alright, we'll go into manual drop mode here. I'll go just a little bit left so that I'm definitely hitting these station facilities here. Alright. Here goes nothing. Bomb's gone. We'll just have to see what that does. I haven't been seeing any flak coming up at us, so I'm actually going to indulge in watching the effect on target in observation mode. And we'll see what happens, and then I'll turn northeast and try and get us out over the sea. Oh, there's an AA gun firing. Okay. Maybe I shouldn't have indulged this. Oh well. Assigned objective completed. What do you mean? Our bombs haven't even hit yet. Should be any second though. Oh, there they go! Bing bang bong, bing bang bong, bing bang bong. What about the formation bombs? Oh, also coming down and plastering the town. Okay, well. You guys tried, I guess. Whoa! Okay, just been hit by flak. Alright, let's get to turning then. Let's head north, pretty much even northeast. First engine's damaged. I suspect it's going to quit pretty soon based on the sound it's making, so I'll be ready to cut fuel and feather prop. Yeah, I know I got a bunch of stuff, but that's not really such a concern anymore. Come out on a heading of about 050 and level off. I think the A-20 can just about maintain altitude on one engine, but we'll see. We are also streaming out large amounts of fuel. That's not good. You know what? I'm actually going to take us through some slightly more evasive maneuvers here until we are definitely out of flak range. So I'll change my direction and altitude continuously. Try not to give them a fix on us. That's... What are you guys shooting at? Oh, are those fighters? Thanks so much for calling them out, guys. Okay, that's interesting. I'm going to roll us back over to a heading of 045, then I might actually grab the gunner's position. Yeah, give me that gun. Oh, I don't see him now. He might be below us. Oh, there they are. How far off the site is this going to be? Pretty much bang on, but we'll need to aim above them. Oh dear, are they coming for me? I think they are. Why am I always singled out for shooting? I have the pilot turn us slightly right here. Yeah, they're coming for me, I think. And I just about can't shoot them without shooting my own tail off. Ugh. Reload. Oh, no, they're going for number whoever it is. Oh no, they're wounded. Come on, kill him! Out of ammo again. Come on, reload, reload, reload. This is another one where we take heavy losses, isn't it? Yeah, got some hits on him. He's leaking fuel. Any more? Speaking of leaking fuel, good God, we're pumping that overboard quickly. I'm glad I took a full tank this time. Bugger. I'm not going to waste my ammo shooting him from that range. Let him get closer. And I'm going to pop back over to the pilot's seat for a minute. Yeah, we're just about over the water now, so I'm going to turn us. Engine is kind of starting to overheat. Open the rads up nice and wide. Ooh, engine 1 is really overheating and engine 2 is starting to overheat. Engine 1 I might not be able to do very much about. I think we're just probably going to lose it at some point. Hitting 080-ish for now. And hop back into my gunner's seat. Anything going on out here? Whoa, what's happening up there? Is that engine stopped? Yeah, okay. Select engine 1, feather prop, close the radiator. I'll send the formation back to base on their own because I'll be way too slow. Left alt 0. Right. Did they shoot my radio out or something? Anyway, it doesn't seem to be giving the command, although they do seem to be flying off on their own without me commanding them in any meaningful sense. Alright, I'll turn to heading 090 and level off. Alright, props feathered, radiators closed, that's all we really need to do with that. Now select engine 2 and go back to full open on that radiator. And give me all the nominal power I've got. Because I'd slowed down a little bit before just so the formation would keep up, but no, I need maximum continuous power now if we're going to have any chance of staying level on one engine. What's our fuel state? Still pretty good, but we're pumping it overboard pretty rapidly. I wish there was a button where we could switch between these fuel tanks instead of it just going randomly. Like for a number of aircraft, like Spitfire or the Ju-88, Hunkel 111, they all have buttons or switches to switch between tanks. We've still got lots for now. Let's see, that's about just under 100 gallons in the right tank. I'll try and monitor how quickly that seems to be leaking out. And we'll see how that goes. What's the engine temperature like? About 230 for the cylinder heads. The upper limit for normal operations is 240. About 95 on the oil temperature, which is right on the upper limit. I don't care if engine 1 is overheating because it's dead. It'll probably cool down now. Well, yeah, that is the situation. Are our P-39s finally getting into the fight here? I think we'd lost them a ways out behind us before. They might have gotten involved in some combat when we were still on our way. I'll hop in the rear gunner position and see how it looks. Ooh. Yeah, I think those are German tracers. One of our 39s is getting clapped, I think. Unfortunate. But at least they're using up ammunition that they then can't use on me. Horrible way to look at it, but there you are. Jeez. How's that port wing look? Like Swiss cheese. Starboard wing looks pretty much okay. A few hits on the rear of the engine nacelle, but no hits to the engine itself. We're still... Oh jeez. We're on the verge of stall speed here. We're going to start losing altitude in a minute. Track IR is being a bit iffy. It's absolute maximum continuous power. Oh, go to auto rich rather than auto lean on the mixture. That should give us a little more power. And maybe she'll plane out because we're in slow flight right now. And if she slows down much more, we're probably going to stall, which is not good. So hopefully we can get a little more speed. I'm actually going to briefly throw the engine into emergency power just to see if she can plane out and stay level. Although that engine's really overheating, so I'm actually not going to do that for any particular length of time. Oh, and throwing the mixture back into auto-rich is probably only going to overheat that engine more. Okay, what's the absolute limit on oil temperature? 105 degrees, and it's at 110. Okay. So if I want to save this engine, I'm going to have to descend. Nearest friendly lines. Too damn far away. Yeah, I'm going to have to put us into a shallow descent. Hang on, have I got yaw trim? Yes, alright. Trim that rudder fully right and raise the dead engine a little bit. Should keep us as aerodynamically efficient as possible. Maintain a heading of about 090 for now. We are Still just north of Crimea here. Depending whether I can keep that engine going, we might end up ditching, and possibly not in friendly territory either. So yeah, that's why I'm making sacrifices in areas like altitude to keep this number 2 engine going. And, yeah, we're below 9,500 feet, so I'll put her back into the first supercharger gear. We're into the bit of the slightly rubbish supercharger zone in terms of altitude right now, unfortunately. Yeah. Just maintain exactly 090 for now. And I'll try and level her off again and see if we can maintain a reasonable speed. Down low, throttle up a bit. Since we're in the different supercharger zone. Yeah, well, we seem to be away from enemy fighters for now, and the main enemy will probably start to be the fuel leaking out of the airplane. Oh yeah, because look at that, we've already drained 20 gallons since I checked last. So we'll see how that goes. So, here's the situation. Our current position, you can see here, is, well, still well behind enemy lines, depending who realistically controls the Sea of Azov. And so far, I've actually been managing to maintain altitude without overheating the starboard engine, but we are moments away from running out of fuel. So a decision has to be made here as to whether we ditch in the sea and hope for rescue by the Soviet Navy, with the possible risk of drowning or also being captured anyway because we're so close to shore, or to try and make for the land where we're quite likely to survive the ditching, but I'll be consigning my crew with more or less certainty to German captivity. I don't have much time to make this decision. Our fuel will be out in a matter of seconds by the look of it. What do? I think I'll try and ditch in the sea within sight of the shoreline is the compromise I'm going to make between those two options. Oh. I think that's it. Yep. Evdokim Bogdanov, Stork lead out of fuel. Alright, we'll try and make it as far east as we can. I'll trim the airplane full tail heavy for now and see what kind of speed that gives us. I'm guessing our best glide speed is in the range of 125 to 130, and yeah, we'll see how far we can get. I mean, I'm going to try and get as far east as I possibly can in the hopes of making it to friendly lines, but I don't think it's going to happen at this point. The A-20 doesn't glide particularly well, but let's get that second engine dealt with. Close the... oh, engine 2. Close the radiator, feather prop, and then I'll select both engines and do mixture to idle cutoff. And we'll see how far we can glide, I guess. Well, by the sound of it, a decent number of our comrades made it home since Stork Flight are now requesting permission to land. We're descending from 2,000 feet. We will be ditching shortly. And, well, to make a long story short, we won't be making it to friendly lines, so we'll have to see if we end up being rescued by the Azov Sea flotilla of the Soviet Navy, or if the Germans decide to row out and capture us. No idea if historically rafts, for example, would have been carried on an aircraft like this, since it was not really, I mean, even per our mission plan, we weren't really supposed to be operating over water beyond gliding distance of shore. little consolation right now as to what would happen. I mean, we'll just have to end the mission and find out. Obviously, in modern civilian aircraft, there is a requirement to carry some form of life-saving equipment if you're going beyond gliding distance of shore, and the requirements generally increase from life jackets to rafts to more rafts the further you're planning on going from shore. But anyway, I think I'm going to put the nose down to try and get us a little speed to do a proper flare with. I'm going to land with the swells at about a 45-degree angle here. I'm going to do this with flaps up just to keep drag to a minimum, and we'll hold it off. Conventional wisdom is not to flare for a water landing because human depth perception isn't great over water, but we will just have to see. And sploosh. Alright guys, get out. Do they actually get out when they're in the water like this? I don't know. I think I'm just going to finish mission, actually. I don't think they are going to get out, and we will discover the fate of Major Yevdokim Bogdanov and his loyal crew. Captured. Alright, well, for us, the war is over. Possibly in more ways than one, since, well, it's a grim subject, but for Soviet prisoners in German captivity, especially officers like Major Bogdanov, their likelihood of surviving is not very high at all, I'm afraid. But, well, if there's any consolation from it, we did hit a number of objects at our target. We did put our bombs on target, and so did the rest of the flight. And a fair number of the rest of the flight appear to have made it home. So hopefully it doesn't turn out to have been for nothing. This will be the end of the career, obviously, since it's an Iron Man career. With regards to what comes next, I have a few ideas of my own, but I'm also open to input. So do feel free to let me know if there are any IL-2 related, or even any other games that any of you might like to see in the future. I have a mind to actually turn towards IL-2 1946 more in the immediate future for a number of reasons. It does have a lot of content which hasn't really been featured on YouTube very heavily, and also it runs a lot better on my machine, which is beginning to get to the point where it has trouble running things like DCS and IL-2 Great Battles, at least at a level where I can record them in single player, because single player with all the AI in IL-2 Great Battles is very CPU heavy, which is a bit of a weak point. I might do more IL-2 Great Battles multiplayer content, actually, because that runs just fine. But anyway, I should probably cease my waffling and bring this to an end. Unfortunately, it's a rather grim end for the career, but there you are. Yeah, this has been my A-20 career in Battle of Kuban in IL-2 Great Battles. I have beaten Mr. 66D. That's about it, I guess. Toodles. Baka.